Hey, everybody. Hi. I just have Firebug chat in the background. Um, I love listening to Rebecca of Firebug chat. Mine, maybe my survival world. First part of the series, baby. So I don't know why I'm saying baby.
He got his house got broken into. He nearly died or something like that. And so he will go on to podcasts and say that he is cursed because of that incident at Zach Bacon's museum with the Dybbuk box. Actually, I want to share something that happened just as I was recording that last bit, and I recorded it and played it back. And just as the clip was ending about the Dybbuk box, I heard a box getting knocked just immediately to my right. I have some cardboard boxes out here, and I just heard a big boom, a tap on one of those boxes just out of nowhere, and there's nobody here with me. So that's funny. I'm a skeptic. I know it probably was nothing, but it's kind of hilarious that I'm sitting here talking about the most haunted item in the world that I was in the same room with, and now something weird has happened. Spooky, scary skeletons. Why don't we get back to the story now? Okay, so something that I was not prepared for about Zach Bacon's Haunted Museum was that not only was there a lot of fun paranormal artifacts and memorabilia, but I was a little caught off guard by how massive a collection he has of serial killer artifacts. And boy, isn't that just so topical right now. For those of you who are unaware, right now there is a very large discussion that is happening that is a hard look at true crime as a genre of entertainment and also the true crime community. And I have heard a laundry list of these complaints and concerns regarding the true crime community, and it's everything from insensitive online sleuths who are contacting the families of victims of cold murder cases so they can be the one to crack the cold case, all the way to a lot of people finding these serial killers attractive and hot and trying to justify why they did what they did. And as you can see, that's all very problematic. And there's so many other things regarding the true crime community that I could spend this whole podcast and more talking about, but we're going to move on. And I just want to say a quick disclaimer here. I know for a fact that there are true crime enthusiasts that are not problematic, but they are very respectful, they don't cross boundaries, and they actually take a responsible perspective on the whole thing, on their own morbid curiosity, and they can think critically about it. Of course, I'm not going to sit here and say that anybody who has ever watched a serial killer documentary is a bad person. No, that is not the case. we all have morbid curiosity. It is human nature. We try to demystify the things that scare us so we are less scared of them. And it is important to have conversations about dark topics. But circling back to the topic of the Haunted Museum and its rather large collection of serial killer artifacts, I have to give my opinion on the fact that it felt very off that these things were laid out like shrines to these people. And that is where the problem is. Now, I know because a lot of you listening have your own morbid curiosity and you would like to know exactly what items were in this museum. I will name a few of the most noteworthy ones just so you understand context. But they had Ted Bundy's ski mask and the bag that he kept his tools in. They had art from John Wayne Gacy that he made in prison. They had a lot of his personal effects too. They had the personal effects of Charles Manson. They also had Charles Manson's bone fragments, which the thing about this tour is that every single room you went into, Zach Bagans would come on the speaker and he would give a narration and talk about what exactly you were looking at and whatever it was you were looking at. And so when he got to the part where he was talking about Charles Manson's bone fragments, he made a point to kind of proudly proclaim that because he now owned the remains of Charles Manson, that technically means his museum is the final resting place of Charles Manson. And he said it as though you were supposed to go, ooh, ah, when he finished. And that felt weird. But apart from all of that, they also had Dr. Kevorkian's van, they had Ed Gein's shovel and cauldron that he used to do not great things. But the thing that I want to talk about is this one room that only the VIP people were allowed to go into. So at one point in this tour, the tour guide pulls aside all of the VIP people and says, all right, so only you guys are allowed access into this next room. However, I have to give you a trigger warning. Now, before you even get in this tour, before the tour even begins, you were given a mountain of trigger warnings because, of course, a lot of dark things are being talked about in a place like this. So you know what you're getting into. But the fact that she needed to give us a trigger warning about what we were about to see, well, I'll just say it was definitely called for in this circumstance. To the point where I debated with myself for about a minute if I actually wanted to go into that room and subject myself to that. However, my morbid curiosity got the better of me and I went inside. And what this room was an exhibit of Robert Berdella. And I don't know how many of you know who Robert Berdella was and what he did, but I can just give the details that torture was a huge part of what he did to people, and he took Polaroid pictures of his victims while they were being tortured. And apart from the other artifacts that were in the room that were pretty horrifying, what they decided to do was take the Polaroid photos that Robert Berdella took of his victims being tortured, blow them up really big, and make them the wallpaper for this room. And ever since I went and visited this museum and went into that room, I've had this mental image in my head of whoever was in charge of designing the exhibits for every single one of these rooms and just trying to get atmosphere right, trying to get theming right for every single one. That person walked into this empty room, looked around, and said, okay, this is going to be the Robert Berdella room. I've got an idea. Why don't we take the Polaroids that he took of him torturing his innocent victims in so many horrifying ways, and let's blow them up really, really big, and we'll make them the wallpaper for this room. Yeah, that's going to be it. That's going to set the mood just right. It's going to send a cold chill up everybody's spine. It's going to make it really overwhelming to be in here. It's perfect storytelling. I'm a genius. And the irreverence of that's what sends a chill up my spine. The fact that the real suffering and pain that these individuals went through at the hands of a monster is being used as set dressing. And something about that turns my stomach and perpetuates an attitude that I think we need to step back and say, is this really what we want to do regarding serial killers and how we present information about serial killers to the public?
Let's Monopoly go!
Chris! Kiki! Ready, tycoons? It's go time. Killers and how we present
Okay, guys.
information about serial killers to the public.
I'm still
And I guess
recording.
that begs a
Am
further
I?
question that I've been
Am I
stuck
even
on
recording?
ever since I left that museum.
I'm not sure if I'm
And that
even
is,
recording.
what would Robert Berdella's victims think of a room like that? What would they think of the photos that he took of them experiencing unspeakable torture and fear, being plastered all over the walls of this room that essentially acts as a shrine to their killer? I think it's pretty much agreed across the board that one of the biggest problems with modern day true crime fascination as a form of entertainment is that we are forgetting to humanize the victims. We are treating them as props that were used by the real star of the show, which is the serial killer. And this is coming from someone who, I used to be a true crime enthusiast, but I also used to be in the minority. Like, true crime as a genre, was not what it is today. Like 5 to 10 years ago, it was not what it is today. It's very mainstream these days. And I guess fandom does what fandom does, and eventually parts of it become toxic. And that's especially true for this true crime community. And that's particularly problematic because these are not fictional characters. These are not fictional circumstances where no one was actually hurt. These are real people who did real monstrous things to innocent victims. And we need to kind of check ourselves as people who are interested in the dark stuff, the creepy stuff, the more macabre. We do need to be able to step back and say, okay, where's the line drawn? And have we crossed it? And I think in many ways, yeah, we've crossed the line. And I understand that this is a very nuanced, complex conversation, and I am not trying to call out anyone in particular. I am not trying to call out Zach Bagans and his museum because I think it is all too easy to fall prey to our own morbid curiosity, our own dark sensibilities, especially those of us who do find a lot of interest in the macabre. And as long as we are able to take a step back and take account of our own attitudes, the way that we are presenting this information, and the story that we are telling, I think as long as we're able to course correct where is necessary, then we're fine. And just because you lose sight of what's important for a moment, that doesn't make you a bad person, that just makes you human. So I know this is probably one of the darkest topics I have ever covered online, period. So thank you so much for curling up with me and having a conversation and having a very respectful conversation in the comments below. I'm sure you all will have. But if you don't want to talk about true crime, then let me know what you're doing for Halloween this year, because I love the spooky season. I've got my own plans. I'm going to wear a costume online later. I'm super happy about it. It's not... Like, I'm not a good cosplayer. I'm not good at doing the costume thing. I did my best, but I really love the character that I'm going as, and I hope you guys do too. You may have also already seen on my main channel, I covered Come Little Children from Hocus Pocus, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's available on iTunes and Spotify and lots of other different places. I also just dropped a new Witch of the Woods collection with my merchandise team. There is a cloak, a flannel shirt, scented candles, a brooch, really fun stuff that we haven't done before, and I'm super excited about it. It's all available for all of your holiday shopping. If you want to drop a hint to a family member who doesn't know what to get you. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying your fall season, your Halloween, and I hope that your holiday season to come is just as wonderful. So thank you so much for tuning in, but now I gotta tune out. Bye! Little children, I'll take thee away into my forest of refuge. Come, little children, you're welcome to stay here where no spirit can harm you. Copilot, analyze this budget report and tell me what questions we should expect on our call. Todd's $12,000 steakhouse dinner?
Google still tracks you in incognito mode. Use DuckDuckGo, a real private browser. With DuckDuckGo, you get a built-in search engine like Google, but it never collects your search history. And you can browse like Chrome, except it blocks most cookies and ads, so you're more protected from hackers, scammers, and data-hungry companies. And there's no catch. The browser's always free to use. Download the DuckDuckGo browser on all your devices today.
Guys, I don't really know what to do. So,
New Haunted Trail collection with a varsity jacket, a blanket, a mug, and more in the shop now. More info later. Hello, my geeks and peeps. This is the sultry sound of Rebecca Parham, and welcome to another episode of Firebug Chats. I hope everyone had a happy Halloween. I had a pretty good one, I would say. I went as Beetlejuice this year, and I'll flash that picture across the screen right now. I'm currently obsessed with the musical, so highly recommend looking into that if you haven't. Also, let me know what your costume was this year in the comments below, and if you did anything fun. I'm genuinely curious what people are up to in our more vaccinated society these days. Really love that we're getting back to some variation of normality. Also, sorry for any sort of room echo that's happening in the audio right now. I'm actually not in my normal setup in Texas. I've been in LA for 3.5 months, just for a change of pace, change of scenery, see some friends, and it's been really nice. And a couple of opportunities have popped up here and there while I've been here. Now, many of you have stated you want me to talk about certain general topics, so I thought I might talk on the dark and spooky themes that relate to my channel. We'll start off with a question I have been asking myself for the past couple days. That being, should I be celebrating Halloween on my channel anymore? If you watched the latest video on my main channel, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I'm really satisfied with the way it turned out, and it was super fun trying something new for one video. I really wanted to make something for Halloween because it's my favorite holiday.
okay, guys, I'm gonna end right here. Bye, and I'll see you next time. See you next time. I will see you next time.